The last train home. The old, rusty sign creaked in the wind. Oakhaven Junction, last stop. Alara shivered, not just from the biting autumn air, but from a deeper chill that settled in her bones. This was it, the end of the line. Literally. Alara clutched her worn leather satchel, its contents, a faded photograph, a half-eaten apple, and a worn copy of her grandmother's favorite fairy tales, feeling heavier than usual. She'd spent the last 3 years traveling, hopping on and off trains, chasing a dream as elusive as smoke. Now, that dream had led her to Oakhaven Junction, a place she'd only ever heard whispered about in hushed tones. A place said to hold the key to her past. The train, a sputtering, groaning behemoth named the Iron Horse, hissed to a halt. The conductor, a grizzled man with eyes as deep and dark as the approaching twilight, grunted a greeting. Oakhaven, last stop. All aboard, for the return trip. His words hung in the air, heavy with unspoken meaning. A return trip? To where? Alara was the only passenger disembarking. The platform was deserted, save for a solitary figure hunched over a small, flickering lantern. As she approached, the figure straightened, revealing a woman with silver hair and eyes that held a mixture of sadness and hope. Alara? The woman asked, her voice soft, like falling leaves. Yes, Alara whispered, her heart pounding. She recognized the eyes, the delicate curve of the jawline. It was her grandmother, or at least, a woman who looked exactly like the woman in the faded photograph. I've been waiting for you, the woman said, extending a hand. It was surprisingly strong. Come, let's go home. The woman led Alara through the small, almost deserted town. Oakhaven was a place caught in time, with buildings that seemed to whisper stories of a forgotten era. The air smelled of wood smoke and damp earth. The silence was broken only by the creak of old wood and the rustling of leaves. This isn't like the stories, Alara said, her voice barely audible. Her grandmother's tales had painted a picture of Oakhaven as a vibrant, bustling town, a haven of magic and wonder. The woman smiled sadly. Times change, child, but the heart of Oakhaven remains. She paused, gazing at the setting sun casting long shadows across the quaint houses. My name is Iris, your grandmother. Alara's mind struggled to process the information. She'd been told her grandmother had died when she was a baby. But, the orphanage, they said? Lies, Iris said simply. They needed to protect you. From something, she trailed off, her gaze distant. Something dangerous. Iris led Alara to a small, ivy-covered cottage. Inside, the air was warm and welcoming, filled with the comforting aroma of freshly baked bread. Photographs lined the walls, showing a happier Oakhaven, a younger Iris, and a smiling baby Alara. Over a steaming mug of herbal tea, Iris began to tell her story. She spoke of a powerful magic that flowed through their family, a magic that had both blessed and cursed them. She spoke of a dark force that threatened to consume Oakhaven, a force that had silenced the town's magic, leaving it a shadow of its former self. And she spoke of a prophecy that foretold Alara's return as the key to restoring Oakhaven's magic. The train, the Iron Horse, it's more than just a train, Iris explained. It's a conduit, a bridge between this world and the one beyond. That's why the journey here was so long, so arduous. The dark force tried to stop you. Alara listened, captivated by her grandmother's words. The fairy tales she had read were not just stories, they were clues, fragments of a larger truth. The magic that once filled Oakhaven was real, and she possessed it within her. The next few days were a whirlwind of rediscovery. Alara learned to harness the dormant magic within her, guided by Iris's patient instruction. They practiced ancient rituals under the watchful eyes of the whispering trees, their voices blending with the rustling leaves and the chirping crickets. Alara discovered a strength, a resilience she never knew she possessed. The dark force, however, was not dormant. Strange occurrences began to plague Oakhaven. Animals behaved erratically. The wind howled with an unnatural ferocity. And night after night, shadowy figures lurked in the periphery, their eyes burning with malevolent intent. One evening, a figure emerged from the shadows, cloaked in darkness. His voice, raspy and cold, echoed through the silent streets. The girl, she is not strong enough. Oakhaven will fall. He was Malcor, the leader of the Dark Force, a being of immense power, his presence choking the very life out of the town. He launched a powerful attack, unleashing a torrent of dark magic that threatened to consume Oakhaven completely. Alara, her heart pounding with fear but her spirit undaunted, confronted Malcor. The ensuing battle was a clash of light and darkness, of hope and despair. Alara, channeling her newfound magic, fought with a ferocity that surprised even herself. The fight was brutal. Malcor's magic was formidable, but Alara, fueled by her love for her grandmother and her determination to save Oakhaven, pushed back. She drew strength from the land, from the memories of a vibrant past, and from the love of her family. The climax came with a blinding flash of light and a resounding crack of thunder. Alara, drawing upon all her strength, unleashed a wave of pure, radiant energy that engulfed Malcor. The dark force shrieked, its power waning until it finally vanished, leaving behind only silence. As the dust settled, a sense of peace descended upon Oakhaven. The town, once shrouded in shadows, began to glow with a soft, ethereal light. The animals resumed their normal behavior. The wind calmed, whispering softly through the trees. The magic had returned. The iron horse arrived, its whistle a triumphant cry. This time, it was not the last train home, but a symbol of a new beginning. Alara and Iris, standing hand in hand on the platform, watched as the train departed, leaving behind a revitalized Oakhaven bathed in the warm glow of the rising sun. The journey had been long and arduous, filled with fear and uncertainty. But Alara had found her home, not just a place, but a family, a purpose, and a future. She had saved Oakhaven, and in doing so, she had saved herself. She was home. The faded photograph in Alara's satchel no longer felt heavy. It was a treasure, a reminder of the journey, the love, and the magic that had brought her home. The last train home had brought her to the beginning of a new, magical chapter in her life. The future of Oakhaven, and her own, shone bright. The journey was over, but the story had only just begun.